You know what terrifies people most about getting older? It's not wrinkles or gray hair. It's the fear of falling and breaking something, of losing independence, of becoming fragile. If you're over 50, listen carefully, because this could literally save your life. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 5 men will break a bone due to osteoporosis. But here's what almost nobody tells you. This isn't inevitable. Yes, your bones change after 50. Yes, osteoporosis is real. But what if I told you that everything you think you know about bone health is only half the story? There are real, proven things you can do to keep them strong. Your bones are not doomed. Period. And I'm going to prove it to you. Your bones are responding to everything you eat. They're alive, and they're listening to the signals you send them. The decisions you make today determine whether your bones will support you at 80 or betray you at 65. The question is, are you sending the right signals? Most people think bones are like rocks, solid and unchanging. But that's completely wrong. They're living tissue that's constantly breaking down and rebuilding itself every single day of your life. Inside your bones, you have 2 types of workers. The first type are called osteoclasts, the demolition crew that breaks down old bone tissue. The second type are called osteoblasts, the construction crew that builds new bone tissue. When you're young, under about age 30, the construction crew works faster than the demolition crew. But after age 30, and especially after age 50, something changes. The demolition crew starts working faster than the construction crew. This is normal aging, but when it happens too much or too fast, it becomes osteoporosis. Here's possibly the most important thing to understand about bones after 50. Everyone loses bone density as they age, but the rate at which you lose it makes all the difference. Some people lose bone slowly and maintain strong bones well into their 80s and 90s. Other people lose bone quickly and develop fragile bones by their 60s. The difference comes down to hormones, nutrition, and activity. After age 50, especially for women after menopause, your body produces less estrogen. Estrogen is crucial because it tells the demolition crew to slow down. But estrogen does more than that. It's actually managing calcium in few critical ways throughout your entire body. First, estrogen helps your intestines absorb more calcium from the food you eat. When estrogen drops, even if you're eating calcium-rich foods, less of that calcium gets absorbed. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in it. Second, when estrogen drops and those osteoclasts speed up their bone breakdown, they're releasing calcium from your bones into your bloodstream. That calcium travels to your kidneys. Normally, estrogen tells your kidneys, keep the calcium, reabsorb it, we need it for the bones. But with low estrogen, your kidneys lose their ability to hold on to calcium efficiently. So instead of being recycled back into your bones, that calcium gets flushed out in your urine. You're losing calcium from your bones through breakdown and then losing it again through your kidneys. It's a double loss. Studies show that women can lose up to 20% of their bone density in the 5 to 7 years after menopause. Men lose bone too, but usually more slowly because testosterone also protects bones. So getting enough calcium is essential. But here's what many people don't understand. Calcium alone is not enough. You also need vitamin D, because vitamin D helps your intestines absorb calcium from food. Without enough vitamin D, you could eat all the calcium in the world, and most of it would pass right through you unused. How much calcium do you need? Women over 50 need 1,200 milligrams per day. Men age 50 to 70 need 1,000 milligrams per day, and men over 70 need 1,200 milligrams per day. To put this in perspective, 1 cup of milk has about 300 milligrams. 1 ounce of cheese has about 200 milligrams. For vitamin D, you need 800 to 1,000 IU per day if you're over 50. Very few foods naturally contain vitamin D. Fatty fish like salmon have some, fortified milk and orange juice have some, but it's hard to get enough from food alone. Your skin can make vitamin D from sunlight, but after age 50, your skin becomes less efficient at this. Research found that people who modified their changeable risk factors, including getting adequate calcium and vitamin D, reduced their fracture risk by 40 to 60%, even if they couldn't change their genetic risk factors. Good food sources of calcium include dairy products like milk, yogurt, and cheese, which are the most concentrated sources. A single cup of milk or yogurt gives you about 300 milligrams. If you eat dairy 3 times a day, you're almost meeting your calcium requirements from food alone. Leafy green vegetables like kale and collard greens have calcium, though you need to eat larger amounts. They are also rich in vitamin K, which is crucial because it activates proteins that bind calcium into the bone matrix. Think of vitamin K as the glue that helps cement calcium into your bones. Canned sardines and salmon with bones are excellent because you eat the soft bones, which are rich in calcium, plus omega-3 fatty acids and vitamin D. This is one of the most nutrient-dense foods for bone health. Fortified foods like calcium-fortified orange juice, fortified cereals, and fortified plant milks like almond or soy milk are good options, especially if you're lactose intolerant or don't eat dairy. Check the label because fortification amounts vary, but many provide 300 to 500 milligrams per serving. Tofu made with calcium sulfate is another excellent source. Half a cup can provide 250 to 750 milligrams depending on the brand. Protein is essential because bones are about 50% protein by volume. Without adequate protein, your construction crew can't build new bone, even if you have enough calcium. You need about 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight daily. For a 150-pound person, that's about 55 to 70 grams of protein per day. Good sources include meat, poultry, fish, eggs, dairy, beans, lentils, and nuts. Magnesium works with calcium and vitamin D to build bones. About 60% of your body's magnesium is stored in your bones, and it's involved in converting vitamin D into its active form. Good sources include nuts like almonds and cashews, seeds like pumpkin and sunflower seeds, whole grains like brown rice and quinoa, beans and lentils, and leafy greens. Now let's talk about foods and habits that harm bones, because knowing what to avoid is just as important as knowing what to eat. Excessive salt causes your body to lose calcium through urine. Try to keep sodium intake below 2,300 milligrams per day. Read food labels, choose fresh foods over processed ones, and use herbs and spices instead of salt for flavoring. Excessive caffeine, more than 3 to 4 cups of coffee per day, can interfere with calcium absorption. 1 or 2 cups of coffee per day is fine and won't significantly affect your bones. The phosphoric acid from colas may disrupt the calcium-phosphorus balance in your body. Here's something you can actually feel right away. Phosphoric acid attacks your tooth enamel on contact. If you've ever drunk a cola and then rubbed your teeth together, you might notice they feel rough or chalky. That's because the acid is dissolving the calcium phosphate in your enamel. Your teeth are made of the same minerals as your bones, mostly calcium, and what harms your teeth harms your bones. The difference is you can feel the damage to your teeth immediately, but you can't feel the damage to your bones until years later when something breaks. Excessive alcohol, more than 2 drinks per day regularly, interferes with the absorption of calcium and vitamin D, and it disrupts the balance between the demolition and construction crews in your bones. If you drink alcohol, keep it moderate. 1 drink per day for women and up to 2 for men is considered moderate. Now here's something critical about making dietary changes for your bones. Add things to your menu one by one and give yourself time to adapt. Don't change your whole diet at once. If you suddenly try to eliminate all salt, cut out coffee, stop drinking soda, add dairy 3 times a day, eat sardines, and take new supplements all in the same week, you will just increase the stress for yourself and your body. And what happens? You burn out in a few weeks and go back to your old habits. Sometimes minor changes can help tremendously. Start with just 1 product at a time. For example, in week 1, maybe you just add 1 cup of yogurt to your breakfast. That's it. Nothing else changes. Get comfortable with that for 2 weeks. Then, in week 3, add a serving of leafy greens to your dinner. Get comfortable with that. In week 5, replace 1 soda per day with water or herbal tea. In week 7, start having canned salmon or sardines once a week. Build gradually, layer by layer. After a few months, you've transformed your diet to be bone healthy without ever feeling overwhelmed. Research shows that gradual dietary changes have much better long-term adherence than dramatic overnight transformations. People who make 1 small change at a time and stick with it for 2 to 3 weeks before adding the next change are far more likely to maintain those changes a year later. This approach works because your taste buds, your digestive system, your shopping habits, and your cooking routines all need time to adapt. Gradual change is sustainable change. Let me summarize the most important truths about nutrition and bone health. Calcium and vitamin D are essential building blocks. Aim for 1,000 to 1,200 milligrams of calcium and 800 to 1,000 IU of vitamin D daily. Get calcium from dairy products, leafy greens, canned fish with bones, and fortified foods. Get vitamin D from fortified foods and fatty fish. Don't forget protein, vitamin K, and magnesium, which all work together to build strong bones. Limit excess salt, which causes calcium loss, excess caffeine, which interferes with absorption, and excess alcohol, which disrupts bone metabolism. Avoid regular soft drink consumption, especially colas. Most importantly, make changes gradually. Add 1 bone-healthy food to your diet at a time. Give yourself 2 to 3 weeks to adapt before adding the next change. This prevents overwhelm and burnout and creates lasting habits. Your bones need the right raw materials to rebuild themselves every day. Give them adequate calcium, vitamin D, protein, and other key nutrients while avoiding things that deplete those nutrients. Do this consistently over months and years, and your bones will have what they need to stay strong. In the next part, we'll talk about supplements, when you need them, and how to use them safely. You have more power over your bone health through nutrition than you might think.